Greetings! What is up, everyone? Welcome back as we are here for round number 3 of Elite Race Away, taking place around the Jeddah Corniche circuit. So, just coming out of the pits, as usual, I will show you the drivers' championship standing. So, it is Mac T of the McLaren team in first with 74 points, myself in second with 60. MK7 Hitch in third, Andy in fourth, Focoena in fifth, the Yuppie in sixth, Modern Chicken seventh, Matuzak eighth, in ninth, and then rounding out the top 10 is Louis C of the Haas team. And then I will show you the team standings. So it is the McLaren team, Mac T's team in first, my team in second, the Haas team, which is Andy's team, in third, MK7 Hitch's team, Ferrari in fourth, and then rounding out the top 5 is the Racing Bulls, which is Focoena's team, in 5th place. So we are here at the Jeddah circuit, and we are coming off of a break week as we didn't have a race take place last week. It was somewhat boring not having to prepare for a league race. So quite glad that we are back to racing. And then also it's been just over 2 years since I've done a league race here, so very much looked forward to this round. And then for those who know the Jeddah Corniche circuit, you are flirting with death going through every single turn, so it is quite an exciting circuit to drive around. So going through the final turn, we are about to start our first push lap. DRS is open, crossing the start finish line as we head to turns 1 and 2, spotting our braking at, I'd say, just after the 150 brake meter board, taking those first 2 turns pretty well. Now going through these medium speed left and right hand turns, trying to get as close to the wall as possible to maximize our lap time. So there you can see doing that pretty well. It is a purple sector 1 for ourselves, so fastest sector 1 out of all of the drivers so far. Now going through that sweeping left-hander, and then now we're coming into this relatively fast right and left-hander, and now into this straight. So it is our Manton Sim setting a 129.147 to set the fastest lap so far, and then NASCAR Free setting a 129, I believe that says 088, to then go fastest. We have set a purple sector 2, so fastest sector 2 out of all of the drivers so far. And now we just are heading to this final turn, spotting our braking at just about the 100 meter board, taking it pretty decently. DRS is open, and we cross the start finish line, setting a 128.159 to set the fastest lap so far in this session. So pretty decent laps for that first lap for ourselves. So now we are here on to, or about to start, our second push lap. So it is DRS wide open, crossing the start finish line right there. And for this one we kind of wanted to go on the limit a little bit more, as there you can see cutting that first left hand turn quite a bit more than we did the first run. So spotting our braking at about the 75, going to the left, right, and then now this left, and as you can see we are nearly 2/10 up. But there you can see going over that right side curb we kind of made a bit of an error, and that lost us a bit of time. However, going to the straight, so it's a new personal best for that sector 1. Now heading through this sweeping left-hander, getting very close to the wall, but as you can see losing a little bit of time. Now going through this fast right and left-hander, and as you can see not doing as well as our previous lap throughout this sector 2. So it is DRS open for ourselves, only about half a tenth of a second faster. But there you can see going through that left-hander we were so close to the wall, and that gains us about a tenth and a half just through those 2 turns alone. So trying to get more on the limit, spotting our braking at the 100-meter board, taking a bit more speed, but our exit not too great. DRS open and is about 2/10 faster, as we said, at 127.952. So that slots us into 4th place. So we have to find time. That is basically all it comes down to. So now heading into the final push lap, we are currently in 5th place. So we have to try and pull it together. So starting this final push lap, spotting our braking a little later, onto the limit, slightly better than our previous run. As you can see, about a tenth and a quarter up on our previous run. A bit better speed going through that left and right hander. Now we're trying to stay as close to the wall as possible. No mistake on that right turn. So we are gaining time going over the curb on the left. So unfortunately that loses us a bit of time. However, personal best for sector 1. Now there you can see we had a moment, as for some reason we lost the force feedback going through that turn. It caused some sort of problem, and we were lucky to not bin it into the wall. But we are currently going well at this point. Nearly 3.5 tenths up on our best time. Now just have to go through this left and right hander, not on the limit, unfortunately. So that loses us about maybe about a half a tenth there. There you can see, trying to get a bit of a slipstream off of the car in front of us, spotting our braking just at the 100, running slightly wide as well, and then we tap the wall going through that left-hander. DRS wide open for ourselves, and we set a 127.764. That puts us into 3rd place. However, at the end of the qualifying session, we finish in 4th. So it is MK7 Hitch in 1st, Mac T 2nd, Goat Lee 3rd, myself 4th, Andy in 5th, The Modern Chicken 6th, T George, my teammate, 7th, Mahmood 8th, Armanson 9th, Alex 10th, Louis Charles 11th, Kelman 12th, Yuppie 13th, 14th, NASCAR 15th, Focoena 16th, and IS Cargo Sim in 17th. So pretty decent performance. Our PB when we were practicing was a 127.6. So 127.764 is a pretty good performance. However, the drivers in this league are very good. So we are going to have to do our best come the beginning of the race. So lined up on the grid in 4th, it is the beginning of this race. So we are at 3, 4, and 5 red lights, and we are underway for this 25 lap race around Jeddah, and we got an amazing start going along the inside of Mac T to go up into 1st place. So starting from 4th, we make our way 3 positions going into the lead of this race, and I might have to say that is probably, as it is now a virtual safety car, as there was some sort of incident that took place behind ourselves. So I'm going to fast forward through the virtual safety car period. However, probably the best start I have ever had in my league racing career, as going from 4th to 1st. However, we come to the end of the virtual safety car period, and we have to be careful with the delta, as there you can see we're in the negative, and then now we're kind of losing time as we are now back to racing speed. Mac T is right on our back going into this turn 1 and 2, so we let him by. So not a good restart off of the virtual safety car period. So we are now slotted in 2nd place behind the McLaren of Mac T. So here you can see maneuvering our way through sector 1 now to this right, and then left-hander and on the battery. So just staying slotted behind Mac T for the time being. Now going through this sweeping left left-hander. So it is Mac T in first, myself in second, Goatley in third, MK7 Hitch in fourth, and then the Modern Chicken in fifth place. And we have to try and do our best to stay within a second of Mac T. However, we unfortunately do not do that. So we do not get DRS. Goatley behind myself does get DRS. So we decide to let him by. So now we are currently in third place. So we're within 1 second of Goatley at that detection point for DRS. So it is DRS open for ourselves. Currently in third behind Goat Lee. Now coming through this relatively slow left-hand turn, and it is going to be DRS for ourselves. But there you can see MK7 Hitch behind us is very close, and he is looking to make a move on ourselves. So there you can see it is MK7 Hitch of the Ferrari team making his way past us. So all of that work that was done going into turn one has been undone off of the virtual safety car restart. So unfortunate for ourselves, we now skip ahead to the beginning of lap 4. MK7 Hitch ahead of us sets the fastest lap of the race, or has the fastest lap of the race. But as you can see, we're kind of just biding our time at this point. We're a bit low on the battery, but we do know that the drivers ahead are going to have dirty air, as they are very close, as the second and third drivers are very close behind each other. And there you could see MK7 Hitch and Mac T were slightly battling a bit at the end of sector 1 there. So now heading into this sweeping left-hander. So it is Goatley in first, and he is actually reserved for the Mercedes team for this race. It is Mac T in second, MK7 Hitch in third, myself in fourth, the Modern Chicken fifth, and then Andy B in sixth place. And Andy actually starting on the hard tire for this race, so he is planning on going slightly longer than the rest of us in the top 5. So currently slotted behind MK7 Hitch at this point. DRS open for ourselves, taking some looks behind us to see where the Modern Chicken is. He is about half a second behind ourselves. Now coming through this left-hander, it is going to be DRS for ourselves. So still at this point staying in fourth place. Now we skip ahead to the midst of lap 5, and there you can see yellow flags at the top left of the screen, as there has been a incident behind ourselves. And there you can see a safety car has come out. So it is the first safety car of this season here at, or in round 3. So now we kind of have to think what it is that we're going to do for our strategy. And as we're going to be pitting quite a bit earlier than expected, where we expected to pit at around lap 12 probably on these medium tires. So there you can see we decide to go into the pits number 1, and then just before that we switch. As you can see, we decide that we're going to go onto the soft tire, so taking advantage of being able to pit during this safety car period. There you can see putting on a set of soft tires. Now coming out of the pits, we are now going to be in 6th place. So there was actually 2 drivers who decided to continue, one of them being Andy of the Haas team, who I did say, or I said, started on the hards. And then I'm not exactly sure who it was that also went through. It might have been Kalman, I'm not sure, but we'll see later on. So here you can see we are just coming to sector 3, lap 8, a few laps later, and the safety car is coming in at this point. So there you can see the front runner is now the de facto safety car, and he will be the one to get the race back underway. So just trying to stay as close as possible to MK7 Hitch ahead of us. He is on the hard tire. Goatley ahead of him is on the medium, and then the 2 drivers behind ourselves Modern Chicken and Louis Charles on the hard. So there you can see the front runner has gone. So not getting too great of a restart, however, keeping a decent gap. So now starting the beginning of lap number 9, heading into turns 1 and 2. Someone with a bit of a lockup ahead of ourselves. So there you can see I was almost 3 wide going into this left-hander. And as you can see, we are starting to catch up. So it's kind of good with ourselves being on the softs. Our tires are going to warm up quite a bit quickly than those on the mediums and hards ahead of ourselves. So here you can see we're right on the back of MK7 Hitch. And there you can see Armance and Sim going wide. So that is going to allow us to take advantage of that mistake. And then behind us as well, the Modern Chicken takes advantage of as well. So both of ourselves making our way past our Manson Sim. And our Manson Sim is actually the individual that I was talking about. He decided to stay out with Andy. Now, it's kind of an interesting strategy as he started on the medium. So to stay out, he didn't take advantage of that safety car period, which it's unfortunate for him. Probably would have been better if he would have pitted. However, it is advantage for ourselves, the Modern Chicken, and then Louis Charles also made his way past our Manson as well to go up into 7th place. So our Manson dropping down the field, as you can see us ourselves going through that final turn. So now on the battery, as taking looks behind ourselves to see where the Modern Chicken is. So we are currently in 5th place at this point. Now skipping ahead to the midst of lap 10. So DRS is enabled at this point. We are using it right now. Now heading into the final turn, MK7 Hitch making a move on Andy. So Andy is the other driver that decided not to pit. So that is Andy ahead of ourselves. We can see that he's flashing. So he is not using the battery. We decide to go onto the battery, make our way past Andy to go up into 4th place. The Modern Chicken also following behind ourselves. So he makes his way up into 5th place. So now making our way through this winding section of left and right-handers. It is Macti in first, Goldley in second, MK7 Hitch in third, ourselves in fourth, the Modern Chicken fifth, and then it is Kelman who is currently in 6th place. Now we are in the midst of lap 11. We fit these tires at the end of, I believe it was lap 5, beginning of lap 6. We are actually starting to struggle at this point on these soft tires. So as you can see, we're within 1 second at the detection line for DRS. So is DRS for ourselves. Currently somewhat low on the battery, however. We are running a decently low downforce setup. So we do have quite a bit of top speed. It should mean that we should have a lot of battery as well. However, not having the grip, we're having to use a lot more battery than expected. So we are running low on the battery at this point. Are we able to stay within 1 second at this detection line? No, we are not. So we are not going to get DRS going down this start-finish straight. And there you can see it is the Modern Chicken making his way past ourselves to go up into 4th place. So yeah, we are currently struggling on these soft tires, and we know obviously we're going to have to make another pit stop before the end of this race. So now we're skipping to the end of lap 13. Still in 5th place, the Modern Chicken has gotten about a 2.3 second gap on ourselves, and here you can see we are headed into the pits. We have had enough of this soft tire, so we are into the pits, and we decide that we're going to put on a set of hard tires to go to the end of the race. So now coming to the end of the pit lane, we are back onto the circuit, and we are in 13th place. So now you can see we are going to have a tremendous amount of work to do. Now, it is expected that there are going to be, as Armanson Sim sets a 131, I believe that's a 197 to set the fastest lap of the race. He is currently in 15th place, so 2 positions behind myself. So, as I said, a tremendous amount of work we're going to have to do. However, we also know that there are going to be drivers who are going to have to pit ahead of ourselves. And here you see IS Cargo Sim making a mistake, and we luckily sneak our way past the Williams driver without incurring any damage. So that was a nearly heart-stopping moment when that took place. I'm very lucky to have gotten away with not getting any damage after that spin by IS Cargo Sim. So here you can see at the end of lap 14, Louis Charles is into the pit. So that's going to promote us up into 11th place. So as I said before, there's going to have to be drivers that are going to have to pit. So we are now into 11th. Now skipping ahead to the end of lap 15, we see 2 drivers into the pits, being Andy and Mahmoud. So that is going to promote ourselves into 9th place. So now skipping ahead to the end of lap 16, as you can see, setting a personal best lap 132.299. Now skipping ahead to the end of lap 17. So our job at this point is to just continue setting personal best lap after lap. So that's a 132.284. Now skipping ahead to the end of lap 19, we are looking to get another personal best, as we just have to continue to try to pump in these personal best laps, which means that we will be catching there. We do not get a personal best. However, there you can see Gold Lee coming out of the pits there just ahead of ourselves. He has pit onto the soft tire, so he also has 13 seconds worth of penalties to his name. So we should be able to pass him as far as penalties are concerned by the end of this race. Now skipping ahead to the end of lap 22, beginning of lap 23, there you can see MK7 Hitch is coming out of the pits. He has set or put on a set of soft tires, but here you could see Kelman of the Red Bull team has made a mistake. So that is going to promote ourselves into 6th place. So now, as yellow flags, that would be for Kelman, who is behind ourselves. So here you can see MK7 Hitch ahead of ourselves. He is starting to catch traffic, so we have to try and push as much as possible. MK7 Hitch actually ends up making his way past to go up into 4th place. We have to try and do our best to catch up to MK7 Hitch, as he is a good barometer as far as where the rest of the drivers are ahead of himself. So we are currently in 6th, catching up to ahead of ourselves. He is on old hard tires in 5th place. Now skipping ahead to the beginning of lap 24, we have caught up to Now is a driver. He actually pitted for hards on the safety car and has stayed out the entire time. The driver who also spun, I believe I said it was Kelman who spun, the Red Bull driver. He's pitted for hards during the safety car and was trying to go to the end of the race as well. So here you can see ahead of ourselves. He has very old hard tires. We have made our way up to the back of the Red Bull driver. So we are going through this right and left-hander. We are within 1 second at that line that we just passed there. So we are going to get DRS right here. So DRS is open for ourselves, and here you can see we are actually not using the battery at this point. So as there you can see yellow flags, if you see on the map on the left side, and there you saw at the top, T George is out. So he has crashed out. Our teammate has crashed out. So unfortunate for our team. However, I still have work to do. I have 1 lap remaining to try and gain as many positions as I can. So there you can see moving to the side. MK7 Hitch setting the fastest lap of the race. We are on the final lap of this race. There you can see having a bit of a look to the left, and it is a lockup for So that is not going to help himself as he is on very old hard tires. You can see he was not using the battery for a little bit. We have a look on the right side. That may have slightly thrown off. And here you can see we are trying to make our way alongside the Red Bull driver. However, it is too narrow to be able to make that move take place. We decide to stay slotted behind the Red Bull driver. Now on the battery, we decide to go along the outside of the Red Bull driver, and we make our way up into 5th place. So this was a good move, and we decided to make that move at the correct time. So now going through this right and left hander, we do know that is going to have to deal with the dirty air as he is relatively close behind us. We have much fresher tires than the Red Bull driver. So here you can see, even though has DRS at this point, we are pulling away from the Red Bull driver through this left and right hander, getting a very good exit. And there you can see as Mac T is the winner of this race. There you can see behind ourselves. He drops back by quite a bit. So now heading through this final turn, we are coming to the start finish line of this race, and it is ourselves finishing in 4th place with Goat Lee having 13 seconds of penalties to his name. So here we are for the final results of the race. Mac T first, MK7 Hitch second, Modern Chicken third, myself fourth, fifth, Mahmood 6th, Goat Lee 7th, Andy 8th, The Yuppie 9th, Alex in 10th, Armenton Sim 11th, Calman 12th, NASCAR 13th, alias Cargo 14th, my teammate in 15th, Louis Charles 16th, and then Fokowena rounding out the 17 runners for this race. So a very fun race that this was around the Jeddah circuit. So a few things I want to point out. So there you can see Mac T there, only doing a one stop. So he pitted on under the safety car, went to the end of the race, and so did the Modern Chicken. As you remember, MK7 Hitch, he did pit, I believe it was on the end of lap 23 going into lap 24. So he did a two stop like ourselves, and he ended up finishing in 2nd place. So impressive by MK7 Hitch for doing that. And then definitely for Mac T going from the safety car period to the end of the race. I don't know how it is that he did it, but that is very impressive. So you saw the title of this particular video is called Joy to Pain times 3. So I was very happy with my qualifying performance. So that was the joy. But to start in 4th was definitely somewhat painful, as the drivers in this league have very good pace. Then at the beginning of the race, we started in 4th, made our way to 1st at the first corner of the circuit. So once again, joy. Amazing to have done that. The virtual safety car period takes place, and basically after that we lose everything that we gained during that first lap, first corner, going back down to 4th place. So another instance of pain. All in all, I would say it was a very good performance. As for, I would probably rate my performance probably a 9 or 9.5 out of 10. I didn't really make any mistakes in the race, and it was a fun race overall. So I had joy as far as that is concerned. However, finishing in 4th place, I kind of wish that I could have done better. So there's a bit of pain as far as that is concerned. However, now heading into next week, we are going to China, and China is, I would probably say, my worst track in the F1 game. So pain, 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 pain. I'm gonna have to put in a lot of practice over the next few days and heading into the race on Monday. So definitely look out for the next race that's going to be taking place around China. If you want to watch the live stream from ERA, just search Elite Race Away on YouTube. They will be streaming at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday when the race takes place for round number 4, taking place around China. So until then, I'll try and put in as much practice as I can and hopefully get a decent result for China. I'd like to thank you for watching this review video, and I'll see you here for the next video taking place around China for round 4. Until then, take care.